You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Eggleseth.
We are live today.
I really wanted to come up with a catchy name that has something to do with pie, but I couldn't think fast enough because I have pie in front of me.
Because the festive season is upon us, right?
It
It is right around the corner. Thanksgiving, and then Advent, Christmas, all those seasons.
Epiphany.
And Epiphany, yes. Epiphany has the word pie in it, doesn't it? Yes.
I mean, yes. Yes, I guess so.
That's right. It is time for the annual KFUO Pie Social. Surprise, everyone. We didn't give anybody warning about this. Any of our listeners, just some folks here in the building and our guests.
And even them we didn't give a ton of.
That's true. We didn't give them any warning. That's true.
Hey, surprise, we have pie today. Come eat it.
Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting the Coffee Hour. You can find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon.
Joining us in studio today, you didn't know this, but we have pie experts among KFUO talent.
We do.
It's true. Pie experts with us in studio today. Erin Alter, she's the Director of Short-Term Missions for LCMS Office of International Mission and co-host of the Lutheran Ladies Lounge podcast, always bringing some outstanding recipes to the podcast and to us here at KFUO. Erin, welcome back to the Coffee Hour.
Thank you. I am thrilled to be here on this day in particular.
I am thrilled you're here, too, because not only did you come to be our guest, but you brought pie.
I did.
What kind of pie did you bring today?
I brought 2 of my mini chicken pot pies that I made because I was always dissatisfied with the individual chicken pot pies you can buy at the store in your freezer. And I thought, why don't I just make them using my mom's beloved chicken pot pie recipe, which is really Betty Crocker's, but it is our family chicken pot pie recipe, and it is superior. And so last year in the spring, I made a giant batch of mini chicken pot pies the size that I want for an individual serving and put them in my freezer. So this morning I baked a couple and brought them in.
And they smell so good.
They're so fragrant.
So good. Erin is pie expert.
Yes. Well, that's why she's on today. We also have another pie expert in studio with us today. The Reverend Matt Clark, Senior Pastor, Ascension Lutheran Church in St. Louis, Missouri, also co-host of Wrestling with the Basics here on KFUO. And I might add, a card-carrying member of the American Pie Council. Pastor Clark, welcome back to the Coffee Hour.
A lifelong member of the American Pie Council.
Lifelong.
Yes.
I need to update the notes.
I feel really bad that I didn't even know there was an American Pie Council. I'm learning something new.
Shame
here
on you.
today.
No, that's okay.
Erin, I feel like this should be a new goal. Did you add this to your professional development goals for this year?
I've
need to
added
modify
a note
those.
even now to add that right after this recording.
It's on my resume, my CV, right
I'll log
there.
into Paycor and pop that right in.
There you go.
The app is not a useful tool, so I need to get back to my desk to do it properly.
Understood. To our colleagues here at the LCMS International Center, there is a room full of pies next to us, and encouraging them to come enjoy their pie right outside the studio, so we can even see other friends from International Mission and LCMS Communications. Courtney's right outside enjoying her pie. Looks like she's having some chicken pot pie as well, some savory and sweet pies as well.
It's good stuff.
Now, it's about time to talk favorites in a little bit. We're going to talk about favorite pies today. But before we even get into that and reveal what your favorites are, what makes for a good pie? We'll start with you, Pastor Clark. What makes for a good pie?
Great question, Andy. Glad you asked. For me, I like a balance between like the creams and the fruit. I think that's kind of nice. So you got your custards and your creams, but then also a nice fruit in there. That's nice. So like there's the Blue Owl here in St. Louis, or right outside of St. Louis. They have a raspberry cream cheese pie, for instance. Oh, that's pretty amazing. But my wife's pie, my favorite pie that she makes, Lisa, is a black bottom pie. In fact, it's called More Rum Than Most black bottom pie. So if our listeners have ever had a black bottom pie, it's like a chocolate cream pie, but with rum. So that's a winner, too.
Okay. That sounds amazing. Erin, what makes for a good pie? I know you have opinions.
I do have opinions. I am friendly to all pies. I do like them all. I am partial to a custard pie. I love a custard pie, and a fruit pie, and I mean, of course, the pumpkin and the pecan. It's hard for me to say what doesn't, but here's something what makes a good pie. An exceptional pie, we'll say.
Okay.
Because there's almost all pies are good pies. That's like a base. It's like dogs. They're all good. Okay. But what makes it exceptional is an excellent crust.
Yes.
And this is hard. It's crusts. There's a reason they're known for being tricky and intimidating, and everyone fears them, and that's why stores provide crusts ready to go, because they're like, I could do the filling if I just had the crust. So the crust, I feel, is really what sets a pie apart to be exceptional.
Yeah. Is it butter? Is it shortening? What's the ratio? I know it's big. The other thing is, I think, is seasonal fruits. If something's in season,
yes,
like
absolutely.
this time of year, apple pies, right on. Fresh
right.
apples, nothing out of the can. The real deal. It's a labor of love. Speaking of dogs, you brought up dogs. My dog's name is Pie. So
That's an exceptional dog right there, or an exceptional pie. Both. I mean, since it's both dog and pie,
checking the boxes.
Exceptional all around.
And
Speaking of exceptions,
or eccentric, I'm not sure.
an exceptional episode today.
Well, that's true, probably on various counts. Okay, so I agree with you, Aaron. A pie crust can really make or break a pie for sure. One time, my sister-in-law and I put too much salt in a pie crust, and we didn't realize it. So there was that
Crackers?
happened. It was like sweet on top of crackers, but that's okay.
A little too savory.
We ate it anyway. It was fine. Okay, so we know what your opinions are for what makes a good pie. What about pie no-nos? What should you absolutely never ever do with or to a pie? I know this might be a harder question. As Aaron said, the bar for pies is actually pretty low. It's kind of hard to mess up a pie, I feel like. Pastor Clark, we'll go to you first.
Again, I think, the shortcuts, they kind of lower the quality a little bit. The canned fruit filling, the store-bought crust. I know, it's tempting, right? You want convenience, right? You want your pie. I understand. So do I. But yeah, when it's the fresh fruit, the homemade crust. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it raises the bar.
Right. I don't know, things you should not do to a pie. Or at least, really consider it carefully if you're going to go in the fish direction.
Wow.
You should really know your audience if you're going to try and use fish in your pie. That would be one.
Salmon
I
chowder
would
pie.
say beware. Again, if you're an experienced, you have an experienced palate, beware though. There are certain crunchy toppings that could surprise you and be okay, but it could also fall flat. I mean, like potato chips, I could see that working in certain limited instances as like a crunchy topping.
Yeah.
But beware of too much experimentation with your pies. Or at least know your audience. Know your audience is going to really enjoy having their boundaries tested.
Yeah.
Know how critical your audience is.
Yeah, and how thick your skin is. Can you take their criticism, or is it going to really, really hurt?
Don't fly too close to the sun when making your pie. Just, take a step back, reevaluate.
These are all great tips. Now, Aaron, have you planned out pies for this season? Like, have you planned out pies, or are you more like a fly by the seat of your pants? What do I have in the freezer? What do I have in the fridge?
Honestly, neither. I have neither planned my pies yet, but also I have to go. The pie spirit has to move me, and then I can go summon those ingredients. If I don't have them, still I have a vision for the pie, and I'm gonna make that happen. I have really come to appreciate cranberry as a pie filling.
Yes.
Either
Success.
on its own. Today there was a cranberry pie that was very nice. I've also had pies that incorporate whole cranberries in with apples. So it was like
Yes,
a
the
cran
scarlet
apple
pie.
pie. Delicious. And so that's been fun in past years. But so far this year, I don't yet have like my focus for the pie, my pie focus. Yeah, we'll see what comes.
There's still time.
There is. I mean, maybe I'll try and go the black bottom route. I've never gone that direction.
You won't
with
be
a
sorry.
pie.
Now, if you want to taste the low bar for black bottom pie, there's a slice right there. So
Okay.
black bottom pie being
Okay.
Pastor Clark's favorite. If you've been listening to the coffee hour for some time, you know that Sarah and I both have like crazy food
An
allergies.
insane amount of food allergies.
Food allergies.
Yes. Okay.
So I can't eat all of the normal ingredients of black bottom pie, but I wanted to at least
You wanted
get
to
a glimpse,
experience it?
a
Okay.
glimpse of what
Okay.
Pastor Clark loves, like his favorite pie.
Oh, so this is not your wife's.
No.
When you
No,
say it's a
this
blue
is
bar.
Andy's creation,
Okay.
and he brought it up to share. This is amazing.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So the meringue is not what I wanted it to be.
Yeah. Oh, actually,
But the
meringue.
filling-
That is a tricky thing
Okay,
with
so-
pie. Beware of meringue, unless I feel like that's expert level.
Moving
into
I am not an
meringues.
expert, and this
Yeah.
definitely, failed. But I'm okay with that because it's a learning experience.
It is delicious, Andy. That chocolate on the bottom.
The chocolate, the filling.
You nailed
I'm
it.
just gonna shut my eyes.
You nailed the chocolate.
You
Well
can
done.
scrape the
Taste
meringue
it.
off if you want. So meringue, I usually picture as egg whites that have been beaten, and then you stick it in the oven for a little bit, just enough to like fluff it up and kind of crisp it on the top, just a smidge. This is a different process. This is you fluff up, or you beat the egg whites in the mixer, and you add hot syrup, like 240 degrees syrup, homemade simple syrup that's cooked 200 like candy temperature.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
add that in while it's whipping in the mixer
Interesting.
to somewhat partially cook the eggs. So yeah, they're not totally cooked, by the way. So they're only partially
thanks,
cooked. And I know this is like riveting news to our listeners today that they're just excited to hear about pie. In a little bit, we're going to talk about
pie.
some of your favorite memories involving pies as well. We're going to do that in just a moment. Well, everyone, I should have brought in beverages for everyone to wash
right?
down the meringue on this pie. We are celebrating the KFUO Pie Social in anticipation of the holidays here on the Coffee Hour. We'll be right back in just a moment. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
At Concordia University, Wisconsin, we believe you were created for a reason: to use your God-given gifts to help others, to live a life of self-sacrifice in a me-first world, to live a life that's uncommon. Whether you're taking one of 50-plus online programs or learning with us in person on the shores of Lake Michigan, you'll be equipped to make an uncommon impact. Learn more at cuw.edu. Concordia University, Wisconsin. Live uncommon.
Welcome back to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
It is the annual KFUO Pie Social with our colleagues here at the LCMS International Center. Sarah is enjoying a beautiful mashed cranberry pie.
Mashed cranberry pie. Because I actually mashed my cranberries this morning.
Mashed up cranberries.
It's really good.
And a flaky
I don't know if it's flaky, but it is almond
flour?
flour and cardamom and ginger and maple in the crust.
exotic.
Yeah.
Exotic. Our
It's-
guests.
Yeah.
Our guest in studio today, Erin Alter, Director of Short-Term Missions for the LCMS Office of International Mission and co-host of the Lutheran Ladies Lounge, and Pastor Matt Clark of Ascension Lutheran Church in St. Louis, Missouri, and co-host of Wrestling with the Basics. Our two on-air talent and pie experts among the KFUO talent. And we are just ecstatic that you are giving your time today to share with us your pie tips and insights so that we can be prepared for the holidays and increase our potential.
Nicely done.
Excellent.
Puns now.
Thank you. So let's talk about favorite memories involving pies. Favorite memories involving pies. Now, like the sense of the olfactory senses usually trigger lots of memories, right? That's like one of. So, all right. Thinking back to the smells that really trigger memories and pies, Aaron, favorite memories involving pies.
Well, I'll tell you. As I said, my family has this chicken pot pie beloved recipe, and I have requested that for my birthday meal many times through the years. My mom is so. It's not the funny one, but anyway, my mom, when I had to say goodbye to my dog, came and she made me chicken pot pie that day to be like, here is your comfort food. Eat this homemade pie together. It's just excellent pie. I also have love for pecan pie that my Aunt Lori and Uncle John, that is their pie specialty, is a pecan pie. And they bring that at Thanksgiving almost every year, and they've perfected their recipe, and it's just... So every time I have pecan pie, I'm comparing it to Aunt Lori and Uncle John's pecan pie, because that, for me, is the norm of pies. And
I didn't see any pecan pies in there yet.
When we were in there, I just had an order brought in. Jenny, I saw earlier a key lime pie piece that I couldn't grab before coming in here, and so I requested a special order. But yeah,
Jenny delivered.
Hello, anybody out there who's watching us, if there's pecan pie has arrived, we could do with a little sample of that.
Is there any pecan pie in there yet?
Homemade pecan
Courtney's
pie
gonna go check.
Oh, goodness. Pastor Clark, what about you? Favorite pie memories?
So, at the congregation I'm at Ascension, I may have dropped a few hints that I like pie. Working into sermons, children's messages, that's a great time too. By the way, have you met my dog, Pie? So for my 10th anniversary, they had a pie celebration. So people brought in pies. So this was the 10th anniversary of my ordination. So that was pretty cool. So, we got to enjoy pie as a congregation. But super thoughtful and a very much appreciated gesture and a great, great pie memory.
Andy, what about you?
Oh, I didn't know I was going to be asked this.
Ha, curveball. I'll tell you mine while you think.
Okay, thanks.
I only asked you because I wanted to share mine too.
I should quote Pastor Apple. I asked the questions around here.
I ask questions too. My favorite is shoe fly pie from Amish country in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, because I spent my childhood driving. Well, I didn't drive. My parents drove back and forth to my grandparents on the East Coast, and so we would drive through Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and we would pick up our stock of shoe fly pies that are like the real Amish deal. I think the place where we bought them from no longer exists, which makes my heart really sad. But then we would have freezer shoe fly pies in our freezer, and we eat them for all of our birthdays. And then we perfected our own recipe that my grandma used to make with us, and it's just like molasses heaven.
So that's like one of the pies I'm not familiar with. One
Really?
Of the few. So what is the shoe fly pie?
So it's a molasses, like a gooey molasses, sweet molasses on the bottom, and then it has the cinnamon flour sugar crumble on top. It is so rich. So delicious. I can taste it right now.
That sounds
you
amazing.
have to try. I'm going to have to make one for you, I guess.
I can feel
next year, shoe fly pie.
Yeah.
I can feel my glucose levels just
Yes.
rising.
Yes,
down.
absolutely.
It
but
is worth it.
It is the best. All right, Andy, your turn.
I have to insert a fun fact here. According to the American Pie Council, the wet bottom molasses pie, shoe fly pie, was used to attract flies out of the kitchen. So it must have
that's
it
great.
must have been made and then like set outside the kitchen to draw the flies out of the kitchen. Hence the name Shoe Fly Pie.
You know, I've always wondered that. I've never looked it up. That's so funny.
That's on the American Pie Council Fun Facts page.
That's amazing. I love
where
that.
You can increase your pie Q.
So punny today.
Yes, piecouncil.org is where
It's
you
a fun
can-
group of people.
Have you attended any
No,
official
I
meetings?
would love to. That's what I plan to do in retirement, Andy, is just go to the conferences, which I think are held annually in Orlando, Florida.
It's a warm place for pies.
It is. Yeah. See, I associate pie quite often with fall. Now, my memories, yes, particularly the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, with my my mom's side of the family, my dad's side of the family. They all lived within like 10 minutes of each other. So quite often we spent many holidays at both sides of the family, like in the morning on one side and in the afternoon the other.
So much pie.
So much pie. But just the smell of all the food, and particularly the smell of the pies. And in my family, the pie table, the dessert table, was just as big as the rest of the buffet at Thanksgiving
As
and
well
at
it should
Christmas.
be.
Yes, yeah. I mean,
This is
there
appropriate.
there was probably a pie for every household, if not every person.
Wow.
Just bring a fork.
Pretty
Grab
much.
a
Take
pie.
it in.
Which reminds me, my Uncle Dave's favorite, I think, was mincemeat.
Interesting.
Any experience with mincemeat pie in the room?
No.
So yeah, my wife's experimented with that. So it's kind of, I guess, a British thing. So around the holidays, and yeah, it's interesting. It's got a little bit of everything in it, right?
Okay.
But we went to Great Britain this past summer. My wife's finished up some classes there, and I was really disappointed because they have pie. Well, they have pie like everywhere. They have these restaurants, this chain of restaurants called Pie Minister, even kind of play off of Prime Minister.
That's like your dream vocation, isn't it?
Well, I went.
That's pretty
That's what I
amazing.
thought, Andy. But then I go in and none of them are dessert pies. They're all these meat pies. So like
London. Yeah.
yeah, so meat pies everywhere, but there's no dessert pies. They're missing out over there. Yeah.
That is
So
a
that was
real
interesting.
opportunity.
Yeah, it was a culture shock for me
Yeah.
as we traveled.
I feel like we should have asked worst pie memories.
Oh. Do we have any worst pie
No.
memories?
I don't know if I would have been on that.
Those may end very badly. What are you enjoying right now, Aaron? Because you brought a pie full of plates, a plate full of pies.
Plate full of pies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I decided I was going to go in. I tried pieces of almost all of the clearly homemade pies that were on offer. Bring a store-bought pie. If you're going somewhere and you're like, I'm supposed to bring a pie and you don't have the time or the capacity right now, or your oven's broken or whatever, bring a store-bought pie. That's fine. But I am always going to be more excited about a homemade pie. So I had a French silk pie this morning. I had some of Sarah's smashed cranberry pie. I had a really nice, the pumpkin pie that I had just really nice spices in it.
Ooh.
I personally am a fan of a spice-heavy pumpkin pie. No one who knows me is going to be surprised by this.
Nope.
I use a heavy hand with my seasonings. So this one is very nicely spiced. I think it was delicious. And I had some of the cornbread chicken pot pie, which I had not experienced before, but it was very nice.
Wow.
Looked like it had like just a cornbread topping baked onto
Very
it,
nice.
but similar filling to a traditional chicken pot pie. And then I did also have some of that key lime pie, which was very nice. It was very nice and tart. I like a tart pie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're out of time.
Already?
We're
Took a
out
little
of
long.
time.
No,
Time
you're
flies
good.
when you're talking pie.
So many great conversations happen over pie as well.
It's
and
true.
We pray that the holiday season you have some great conversations, especially encouraging one another in the word over pie. Our guests today, Aaron Alter and Pastor Matt Clark. Thank you so much, pie experts, for joining us for the coffee hour today.
Thank you for having me.
Most definitely.
Swallow first.
You've been listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
Production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@KFUO.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.